and welcome to
The Vista.
I would like to introduce myself. My name is Tim O'Brien and my two co-hosts.
Hello, I'm Marjane Shatrapi.
And I'm Offred, and before we start our main discussion, I want to touch upon something that's been all over celebrity news.
What?
Have you guys read about or seen the photos of Caitlyn Jenner?
Yes, kudos to her for finally accepting who she is. Did y'all hear about how Fox News misidentified her on their latest news broadcast?
Oh my god, yeah, I heard about that. There's a lot of controversy about her transition, and most of it's due to the fact that many people do not know or understand or agree with the topic of discussion.
A lot of the transgender community finds her to be a spokesperson, but still many people discriminate against her decision and the trans community as a whole.
Really, I can't believe that. Everyone should be able to make their own choices about their life. Nobody should be forced to do something or be something they don't want to be just because, or even be judged because of their decisions.
I think the discrimination associated with this topic is horrible. But what about other discrimination found in other areas of the news? What about the Baltimore riots and the controversy surrounding them? The news hasn't really been touching upon them lately.
The news often seems to sensationalize news stories that oftentimes seem to be more interesting, when in fact there are more serious news topics to be discussed.
I don't think that such extreme violence is needed in Baltimore to voice such an opinion. When I was growing up in Iran, I've experienced this violence, and it's just not worth it. It's doing more harm than good.
Yes, but sometimes extreme is needed when you feel like you're not being treated fairly. I firsthand know what it feels like to be trapped, to feel lesser than everyone else around you, and sometimes extreme acts are needed in order for people to open their eyes and see what's right in front of them.
I agree with both of you. This topic of discrimination is very touchy-feely. Back when the draft had been instated for Vietnam, I did not know what to do. I feared being discriminated for not going to war. However, once I came back, I was discriminated, so...
Again.
Well, I don't really agree with you, Alfred. I think being too extreme, you are destroying a lovely neighborhood that you live in, and as well as making the police presence in that area become more heavy, and their negative attitudes towards the citizens, and including any bystanders. That is just not fair and could have been avoided by not being so extreme.
Again, I'm not saying that the violence and destruction is a good thing. I find it horrible that they're destroying their own homes, but maybe this is the only way they feel that they can get people to open their eyes and notice what's in front of them.
Right. I am a true believer of how our past experiences can shape who we become as we grow older and mature as people. In Vietnam, I saw the definition of crazy. My war buddies handled the war very differently than I did. In order to deal with my PTSD, I compiled short war stories and even wrote my book. This, however, was not until nearly 20 years after the war. I believe if I did not have my writing abilities, I would have ended up like my poor friend Norman Boker, who unfortunately committed suicide.
Very sorry to hear that.
The extremists of the riots are affecting the younger generations, and people aren't even realizing the impact it has on them. Experiencing the revolution firsthand in Iran really had an impact on my life growing up over there. This is why I strongly believe that such aggression is not needed because of the short-term and long-term effects that it's going to leave on the upcoming generations.
The night I tried to escape with Luke and my daughter gave me nightmares. The thought that I had to see my family ripped apart because I was a woman was horrible. I would think of the young girls after me who would have to comply to what I had to go through and not know of all the other things life could offer them.
What we are all feeling right now has been brought on from what we have experienced in the past.
True.
Even though many today won't know what it's like to be drafted into a war nobody wanted, they have their own struggles.
Type of struggles such as cyberbullying that what many of our generations did not experience.
Very true.
The cyber world is very scary, and these kids are just so ruthless towards each other, especially when they're behind the screen of their computers.
Degrading people to the point where they feel like they are worth less than everyone around them is a serious act. kids may not realize what can happen when you feel like you're worthless. During my time in Gilead, there were many suicides because women could not stand the way they were treated. We were objects. We were owned and possessed by others. Cyberbullying may not be to that extent, but the feelings are all the same.
I totally agree. Well, guys, we certainly hit upon major topics in the news right now.
Yes.
That's just about all the time we have for today, but we would like to thank you all for joining us.
Join us next week for our new discussion about the controversy over the recipient of the Bravery Award.
Till next time on
The Vista!